From coast to coast, the IORA Cup Series continues its familiar first stops on the Season 7 schedule. However, this is a track we haven't seen in more than a season. Almost a full year. It's been a long time coming, but we're back live on FTN Broadcasting with coverage of Race 2 in the IORA Cup Series 7th season. From sunny Fontana, California, this is the Auto Club Speedway. It's our second time here this week, and we're looking forward to 80 laps of exciting action with another big field of more than 30 drivers. Last week, Sean Rowe rewrote history, winning the Daytona 250. Last season, he finished in second. This time around, he got the job done. Now we're looking to see whether or not he can defend for 2 consecutive wins. If Alexander Balderas, the number 95, can come back to victory lane to the track he won his first ever race at last time we came here, or if one of more than 30 other drivers can find their way to the checkered flag. I'll be your host for tonight's event. I'm David Kreutz, commentating, broadcasting, of course, here at FTN, and producing. Currently qualifying on the move with 2 minutes on the clock. Drivers on their way, and currently Michael Mitchum has himself the provisional pole position. Mitchum is at the top of the board with a 40.094. Then from there, you've got River Page, and the number 30 of Derek Shaver is up in front as well. And then you got a few new drivers making their way in. Jacob Malone and Elijah Innes at the helm. Top 10 now going to see the number 5 shoot all the way up to the top, and that's going to be the number 099 according to timing and scoring. That is Terrell Baker. Baker up to P1 now at number 25. As you see, this is Terrell Baker's first ever race in the IORA Cup Series. Well known for his appearances in Newark, the NORC Racing League of late 2010's fame. Terrell Baker making his way to the track and grabbing the pole position by 7 1/1000ths of a second. All the while, Derek Shaver will then and there be P4. James Thurston is now coming around the way. Let's see what he can do here in the number 96, looking to keep good momentum from his SNT victories and podiums. Same Xfinity car. He's had a little more trouble when it comes to that continued success, however, in this circuit. As it stands, Thurston, one of many drivers who has not yet gotten his qualifying lap in, with a minute and 27 seconds remaining on the clock here. It'll be Baker, Mitchum, and Page, positions 1, 2, 3 as it stands. Thurston going to be 25th after his first lap, and it looks like this second one will be good enough. The 96 goes up to the pole position by 55 1/1000ths of a second. James Thurston taking P1 on the board tonight, and it looks like once again up front and strong, Thurston. The P1 in Auto Club qualifying, somewhere we expected to see him. It looks like now Michael Deitch will be heading down into pit road. Looks like his qualifying run is coming to a close here, and as it stands, he's one of the very few drivers left on the track. You've got Deitch, Braden Movick there in the number 42, and River Page. Page has not yet gotten onto the circuit, but you can see he's waiting here, biding his time, perhaps for the last few seconds of the run. He already put 1 lap down, but wasn't able to finish that second, as Jerry Rodriguez also gets on the move. Rodriguez tonight going to be running in that number 0, and as clear as day, that number going to be shining through on an otherwise all-black paint scheme. Currently, it appears only a few other drivers on the circuit, and Aiden Walker will best Thurston at the line. 47 1/1000ths of a second. That's the difference maker for qualifying tonight. And so your starting lineup is set. Aiden Walker and James Thurston, positions 1 and 2 to get the ball rolling tonight in Fontana. Starting grid fully assembled now, and it's about time we get ready to roll. Aiden Walker still looking to come back to victory lane. It's been a long time coming for a driver who's been with us as a consistent driver now for more than 5 seasons. Walker last season, we told the tale a few times, but we'll mention it once again for good measure. He's a driver who's been strong, but just has not been able to find victory lane. By virtue of multiple second place finishes last season, he found himself as the de facto P2 driver in the regular season quest. As such, tonight, a big opportunity to go out there and finally find P1. Last time we went racing at this track, it was a first-time winner in the form of Alexander Balderas, who again, he's not racing tonight, meaning we will have another new winner at the Auto Club Speedway as we take a look now at that starting grid. Sun is setting slowly but surely here in Fontana, so we're expecting conditions to change. It's an 80-lap event coming in at 160 miles overall. Last Tuesday and last Monday, the Integrity Racing League getting to work, and it was in particular the Monday night tour that saw more than 50 drivers going to the Auto Club Speedway for 120 laps. But tonight, our drivers are set up for 80. Let's take a look at that starting grid, because on the inside of row number 1 and the outside as well, familiar faces and veterans in IORA competition. It'll be Aiden Walker and James Thurston positions 1 and 2, with Terrell Baker and Mike Mitchum. P2, of course, Thurston. P3, Baker. P4, Mitchum. 5th place goes to River Page, and Corbin Collins will start in 6th. 7th, Van Drugman, and 8th, Derek Shaver. James Bomar, P9, and Jacob Malone in 10th, with Sean Rowe defending winner then in 11th. See right there, 12th place will be Elijah Innes. Lars Chenoweth is going to be the number 19, and that's going to be the driver, of course, starting 13th. Trevor Huff 14th, Vincent Guecci in 15th place, and Frank DeAngelis, the 69, will start in 16th. 17th and 18th will be Daniel Mosteller and Andres Varas tonight, and then you got Jaquay Carter, Will Shack, Mohamed Omir, Devins Baker, and Aaron Schugel, with Alex Anderson also fighting through in the number 67. Anderson will start tonight in 24th. 25th will go then to Aladam Contreras. Corey Lyles will find himself just behind in 26th. Michael Deitch 27th. Drew Lyles in 28th. Braden Movick P29, and Dylan Banks will then be P30. As such, the field is ready to get things going. The IORA pace car will duck down low. Aiden Walker's looking for his first career win, and what a sight it would be if the 93 got the job done tonight. Drivers get rolling. It's going to be now the 93 of Walker with the advantage on the inside. Welcome to the Auto Club Speedway. We are racing for Season 7 in Fontana. Aiden Walker gets the early advantage. He finds himself at the front of the field, and furthermore, James Thurston is still chasing there in P2. Currently going to be side by side for that race lead, and it looks like the minor advantage still in the hands of the number 93. Going to be an exciting battle to watch all night long between these two drivers, if of course they can keep each other alongside one another. But Mike Mitchum might also be that third horse to look out for. Now, literally speaking, the dark horse in a black and pink number 38. Mike Mitchum has been strong throughout his IORA Cup Series career. Although it has been for the large part a part-time effort, he's proven race-winning caliber and pole-sitting caliber many a time before, as the field is largely single file up in front. Lars Chenoweth, Derek Shaver, James Bomar, and Terrell Baker very close to each other further behind. Still 3 wide as we head toward the exit of turn 4. That's the number 95, particularly of Terrell Baker, making it a very high-sided move. The 25 tonight going to be running in his first ever IORA Cup Series start. Qualified very strongly, that's for sure, finding himself, of course, P3 on the order, the inside of row 2, suiting him well, but ever since that point, he's been falling down rapidly. Whether or not it's intentional, can't quite tell. Looks like very little damage, if any, on Baker's car. Nevertheless, he has been dropping back, and that is to his detriment big time here. Baker's going to be fighting with Will Shack now outside the top 10. This looks to be more or less the fight for about 20th place as the majority of the pack continues to pass by the 25. It looks like now this Chevrolet Camaro is at odds with the field and is not able to keep up just yet. Thurston to the point. Getting just ahead now of Aiden Walker and coming across the line with a race lead. Lap 5, he'll have the advantage in, of course, getting it started. Mike Mitchum has gotten a little bit closer over the last few tenths of seconds, and you can see him right now getting closer in this single file train and maybe bringing with them Corbin Collins in the number 71. Again, it's Corbin Collins up in front. He was a rookie last season, made a few strong top 10 performances, but nothing too outstanding in terms of top 5s, podiums, or top 10s. As a result, there's an opportunity in mind, of course, for the 71 to have that breakout race, something he's been waiting on throughout his career so far, but it's going to take a lot more than starting up front to finish the job. There's Jacob Malone in the 26 and River Page in the 24, both of which now battling around 6th place as Trevor Huff returns to competition in IORA. Trevor Huff, of course, previously a driver with Jackson Fuimano Racing, now finding himself with Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport, the only driver out of that franchise to go instead of the Call-Off Dice Racing route with an independent team, which was Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport. At the end of 2024, Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport expanding with Huff, but at the same time it was Call-Off Dice Racing, which expanded with multiple other drivers, taking JFR's sim racing team and making it their own. So far, multiple JFR guys are in the back of the field. We'll focus on them later, but it is currently Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport that has their flagship driver up to the front. Thurston leads. He'll have with them Mitchum and Aiden Walker going side by side now. And the battle has only just begun between these two. Aiden Walker, Mike Mitchum looking for P2 honors. All the while, Thurston will lead them down the stripe once again. The most exciting part of it all, of course, is that Thurston is still looking for his first win on the season. Wasn't able to achieve victory in Daytona. Of course, only one driver can win, which makes it that much harder. But on a night like, of course, what we saw last week with more than 35 drivers, the pressure to win is at its all-time highest. Of course, tonight, it looks like right now, the number 96 of Thurston, he's in a good position here to cruise for the early laps, but that is not at all indicative of the remaining action in this race. First strategy, first stint, first pit stops, largely different from what we see by the time the race concludes. And that's going to be very true tonight, mostly because we are changing up our race conditions. Currently, weather is going to be very mild. It's going to be pretty fair all night long, but here's what it comes out to right now. Overall, the ambient temperature 69 degrees Fahrenheit, track temp is 73, humidity will be relatively 51%, and winds will be westbound at about 10 miles an hour. Track is going to get cooler as the night goes on. The sunlight, already very little, will become just about none by the time the checkered flag falls. As such, drivers who are benefiting from that cool track temperature can push a little bit harder, and maybe a driver less comfortable with how the track is right now will find a way up as the night goes on. Thurston still leads Mitchum and Walker, and then you look back and you see a few more other battles. Lars Chenoweth here in the number 19, the 71 of Corbin Collins, and of course the 88 here, that is Vincent Guecci. And now, Vinny's going at it side by side with Braden Movick. Movick, a part-time competitor ever since Season 2. We saw him once last season, and he's come back into the fray tonight, currently running inside the top 10, although he decided to start from the back of the field, intentionally taking it from 29th and working from the bottom up. Not going to be an easy night for Braden Movick by any means. He's not going to make it easy on himself, and he's choosing instead to fight his way through and see what he's got in store for the field after that point. The 29 of Sean Rowe will follow him here, although Sean has not made any moves, neither positive nor negative. Right now, it looks like he's gone from the up and up to about the middle of the field. Winning at Daytona, of course, an amazing moment for that team. Sean at last finding the checkered flag. And now, a little bit different. He's going to find himself in the middle of this up-running pack. Maybe not the best of his nights, but having that win in his back pocket will help out immensely in the playoff picture. Victories almost guarantee you a playoff position in the IORA Cup Series, unless, of course, you race at a part-time basis. At that point, you might not get in, but Rowe right now has a ticket to a long-term playoff run just by winning the season opener. So he doesn't have to be all too aggressive to get back with the front runners here. Currently going to be single file all the way down through the top 20, and it looks like more of the same further on back. Here's the 006 to Jaquay Carter. Michael Deitch right now, 27th spot, running alone. The front runners, the mid-pack, and the back runners alike all have one thing in common. They're keeping it calm and collected to open up the day. Already 12 laps in, and we're only seeing small bundles go at each other rather than the typical big pack. Now, this sort of small bundle racing is very common and rather frequent in the late stages of an Auto Club event. With so many drivers in such a high-speed circuit, usually you see drivers a little bit more risky in terms of their racing decisions, especially to open up the night. It's not necessarily a matter of how things end. Usually we see it come down to 5 or 6 drivers at the very most at this track. But when we open up, there's an opportunity for some 25 drivers to stay within 3 or 4 seconds as long as that draft hangs on. Not a super speedway, as we mentioned. Drivers are not able to put their foot down the whole time, but what they can do is try to keep with the drivers around them just off the basis of that draft and packing the air to one another. And that's something so far the top 10, top 15 have done a pretty good job with, but I'm not quite sure about the rest of the field here. It looks like otherwise they've been struggling, although these front runners now are seeing some different moves made. That was Sean Rowe in the number 29. He makes the move up now in a 10th place over Vincent Guecci. Vinny now going to be P11, and it looks like a little bit of contact just behind. That was Derek Shaver. Derek is a rookie in his first ever race here in the IORA Cup Series. Good to see him as he now battles side by side with the 69 of Frank DeAngelis. Daniel Mosteller also making his way through. Mosteller getting a mid spot in the qualifying order. He was just about smack in the middle, qualifying 17th of 34 registrations. So by all means, not a strong qualifying outing for the number 87. But I'm sure his expectation is to shock us, impress us on the race through. Maybe just because he didn't start strong doesn't mean he has no pace in him at all. Matter of fact, looks like he's now picking off drivers, and he's got a big pack to come up on. Carlos Schruter in the 39, the 69 of DeAngelis, the 30 of Derek Shaver here. Don't be dissuaded if you're a Daniel Mosteller fan, because it looks like now Demos is, at long last, on his way to making some good moves here to get inside not only the top 15, but further into the top 10 and beyond. So far, your biggest mover on the day is the number 42 of Braden Movick. Braden has made up 20 spots so far, going from P29 to P9 over the course of this 16-lap run. But up in front, it is still James Thurston. It looks like Thurston is ahead of Mitchum, is ahead of Walker at that time. Of course, it's been a back-and-forth joust between the second-place drivers, and they've been really on each other the whole time. But even if you are the third-place driver in this battle, if you are Aiden Walker, or at times if you are Mike Mitchum, it's a back-and-forth cycle, but they're still both oh so close to your race leader. Even though they battled one another, it's very clear they have almost that race-leading speed. It's just a matter of getting up in front and keeping it up there. Defense is necessary, but putting it on for that offense is the opportunity now that drivers have to focus on. And it looks like the leaders again go single file, but the mid-pack stays closer. Carlos Truther in that number 39 dropped almost all the way down to the apron. One of the first times we've seen the bottom groove used. And a very exciting point in the race is when we see drivers going 3, 4, or even 5 wide here in Fontana. It's something that's happened before. We saw in seasons 4 and 5 particularly aggressive driving, but the Gen 4 package and the Next-Gen package, even the modern Xfinity package, are very different from what we saw in Season 5. And those differences are playing into how these drivers are approaching the track tonight, and also the way the field is approaching it also comes down to that mutual respect. Tonight, we have not seen any issues so far in the opening quarter, which, compared to the last time we've been to Auto Club, is a far cry from the multiple yellows to open up the night. Auto Club is typically about getting a rhythm and riding with it, and that's no exception to what we're seeing right now, but it's great to see drivers get into that rhythm very early. Starting the night strong with the IORA Cup Series. As always, this is a doubleheader night on FTN. Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. The fun continues as we move on to our next race. That next race, of course, it's going to be with the Highline Racing League. Highline Racing League action continues at an intermediate circuit after tonight. The track has not yet been chosen, and yet could still find out during this broadcast. So stick with us if you're interested in our next event. The Highline Race League keep things moving, of course. They're going to go for race 2 of their season as well. Both championships are on the same schedule this season, from February until May. If you're seeing one broadcast on a Thursday night here, you have the chance to see 2. So stay with us after IORA ends, and on 9:30 p.m., of course, that's when our start time is. We'll get the broadcast going for the Highline Racing League Gen 6 action, much like the very early days of the IORA Cup Series, and a throwback to what it was in the IORA Cup Series and the NASCAR Cup Series many a year ago. Trevor Huff now finds himself in 5th. Good moves made so far for the Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport driver who made the switch over, of course, last year. And it's an interesting divide between the guys who are Power Smash after the breakup of JFR and the Kalof Deitch Racing drivers. Tonight, Kalof Deitch Racing sending 3 drivers onto their circuit: Aaron Schugel, Corey Lyles, and Michael Deitch. Last week, Michael Deitch scored a top 10, the highest finishing position of anyone on the team so far. Corey Lyles finds himself highest position of his team as it stands. Lyles is in the 56 right now, as you can see, and he just made a big move there on Vincent Guecci, and that keeps him up in the 18th position as he comes across the line. Evidently, Lyles may be struggling a little bit more than he would like. A top 10 competitor with 1 career victory, Season 3 Daytona. He's still looking for that chance to come back, but tonight he finds himself mid-pack running, and he's ahead of Michael Deitch. Deitch is in 25th, and Aaron Schugel is struggling big. He is 31st as it stands, and nearly 1 lap down. He would be put 1 lap down second of all drivers based on their running order right now. And this is ironic because Aaron Schugel was one of the top competitors last time we went to the Auto Club Speedway. He was the second quickest driver, by all accounts, to Alexander Balderas. It was he and Balderas fighting for the race win when we went in for our final pit stop cycle. And what happened was Schugel got a speeding penalty on pit road, and that ended his night and his opportunity to take the race win. But it looks like if there's any chance to get back up there and do one better, it won't be today. He's currently going to be outside of the top 30. And while the leaders have been able to come through cleanly, it looks like Aaron Schugel finds himself practically all alone. And there goes James Beaumont, ever so slightly up into the wall. Side by side now, Carlos Truther and Sean Rowe. Very calm and collected racing to open up the night here. Daniel Mosteller, as we mentioned, we didn't think he would be gone for long from the top 10, and he's proven that indeed is the case. Take a look now as we ride on board with the 87. Daniel putting the pressure down now on Braden Movick. Movick in the number 42, 7th place currently. Demos 8th. And these two have made up big positions. So far, they've made up a combined total of 31 places. Mavic up 22 and Demos up 9 as it stands. And a reminder, only 32 drivers on the racetrack. They've made up nearly a whole field combining each other's efforts. And with that number 26 of Jacob Malone right ahead, we might see them go for positions 32 and 33 very soon. Demos now going to pull to the inside of Malone. Mavic pulls back, and it's going to be a double pass from Osteller if he can finish the job here. The 87 dives low. Malone stays with them. Not clear coming out of turn 4, but Daniel Osteller with the drive off will get Malone in the front straightaway. Demos now makes the move, getting himself up from 8th to P6 in one lap. Mavic falls back, as does Malone. Caution is out on the track tonight for the first time. Incident in the back of the field, it appears. Taking a look to find out officially why the yellow flag flew. Looks like the front runner is going to be mostly just fine here, with one driver with big trouble. And we're going to figure out what caused it. Yellow flag's out. Here's our one-lap replay as we take a wide-angle shot and show you what happened leading up to the wreck. 26 laps in out of 80 here, looking at the mid-pack. Just as the yellow flag was called, looks like no trouble there, whereas the back of the field might have been the place of incident. Aaron Schugel, Aladam Contreras look to be just fine, whereas your front runners put together as well. And taking that rewind, looking again from these drivers at the back end of the pack. Yellow flag out right there. They're getting the signal. Van Drugman also on his way. Andres Varas too. Damage looks to be minimal, if anything, for anyone. And we're taking a look around the field in its entirety. We're taking a look now at almost every position. And still no signal of anyone who has any particular damage. Set to go down to pit road this time by. Caution's out for the first time as pit road is now open and the entire field opts to go in. Thurston going to lead the way here in the number 96. He's got himself P1 on the entry. Let's see whether or not he comes out on top, as it looks like every driver from start to finish opts to go in. iRacing official pace car, the only exception, but everyone else has made their way through, and now it's about time we figure out who wins the first race off pit road. Last week in the Integrity Racing League, of course, the Ignite Series, we saw the action. Drivers were able to go up to 60 laps at their discretion, but it's optimal to split this race into 40s. So 28 laps in out of 80 here, a very tricky spot to be in. Aiden Walker, Thurston Mitchum, and then Trevor Huff and Terrell Baker. That's your top 5 according to timing and scoring. Baker fades out, Page moves in, but the 93 gets through. Yellow flag on the field tonight for Drew Lyles, as a matter of fact. Drew and Corey Lyles seem to be in this one, so we're going to see what happened here. Both Lyles involved in an incident last week at Daytona. And here's a look back now as we check out what happened with our instant replay. Devins Baker, as you see there, he was spinning on pit road, did a full 360, but that was not the incident of concern. Taking a look now, Corey Lyles there in the number 56. At 144 miles an hour, everyone getting it collected. This is just after the yellow flag is thrown. Seeing now exactly what happened. Mason Moriarty saying the call on the field for Lyles tonight. So, specifically not stating which Lyles it was. And that's what we're going to find out here. Yellow flag on the circuit. FTN instant replay coming your way right now. '77 of Drew Lyles looked to be just fine at the time of the caution being thrown. Same goes for Corey Lyles, so an interesting call. Again, surprised to see the yellow flag fly here, and this is why Corey Lyles went sliding through the grass, and now we've got a good look at it. The 56 of Lyles, with minimal damage albeit, went through, and the 56 got up in the wall, went down with some contact, and was sent deep. Involved with Muhammad Omir, and Lyles gets turned. Caution was out, and it looks like now we're finally going to get back to business. 30 laps in out of 80 here. It's your first restart of the night, and it'll be Aiden Walker, James Thurston, Mike Mitchum, and Trevor Huff. Positions 1 through 4 as we get lined up for our first restart. A very good stint broken up by a small incident. Now looking for the opportunity, recover, and keep things moving. Side by side, Aiden Walker, the control car here. Let's see what he can get out of the 96. Green flags out once again. Walker gets things moving. Thurston to follow, and we're back on our way. The sun continues to set as drivers shuffle in the back of the field here. Side by side, you see Aaron Schugel, Drew Lyles, and company, but no issues as everyone gets through on this opening lap. Once again, ready to settle back into that rhythm. Hopefully caution's not breeding cautions here, but the entirety of the field was very spread out at the time of the incident. And that's something you'll also notice. Drivers are going to have to involve themselves with tires and fuel, and that's where you're seeing those major gaps come to form. At Daytona or at Talladega, any of the super speedways, that's not something the drivers are concerned about, but even though it's a fast track, you gotta lay off the throttle many a time. Three wide, Terrell Baker now taking it on James Bomar right down low. Number 30, that's the rookie of Derek Shaver making a move on the inside of Vincent Guecci here. So far, Derek looking strong for a first-time driver. He's gotten himself down to the bottom of the track once again. He was running inside of the top 10, although it looks like once again he's faded just to its outside. A good opportunity to return, of course, this coming time by, but he's got to keep things moving up and ahead. Everyone now on fresh rubber, so we'll see if drivers play their strategies differently. Maybe the more aggressive drivers taking a chance to sit back and relax. Maybe those who are a little more timid on their opening run decide now to put the power down and get back up in front. It's an opportunity to shift up strategy in ways we haven't seen before, and that's what's going to make it more exciting as this second stint comes to pass. Down to the inside, there's James Thurston looking for the race lead once again. Walker with the advantage. But here comes now that number 96, Thurston dropping it down low, and it looks like now he's got himself right where he needs to be. Thurston, real close to making a pass. Can't quite get it just yet. Mike Mitchum now back there for third, and getting up even further into the ladder, that's Braden Mubick, 29th, up to 4th. So Mubick now to the highest spot he's been in all night long. P4 on the day, and maybe a chance to continue improving here. He's gone 25 places up on where he started, so a huge day of gains so far. Another driver who's close to that statistic, Carlos Schroeder, 30th up to 7th. That's a plus 23 gain on the night. Absolutely impressive to see what's going on for these drivers who have come from the back and proving qualifying sometimes not the most important factor as the night goes on. Daniel Mosteller once again up 10 places, having himself now side by side with Truther and just behind Frank DeAngelis. A big group of drivers who are still on the move and trying to make things happen, hoping not that qualifying will define them, but now that they're going to move past it. for the race lead, side by side once again. Aiden Walker still just barely ahead in the number 93. The 96 of Thurston lays back in P2. And of course you got there the 38 of Mike Mitchum. 96 of Thurston having the opportunity to get things going and take it down the back straightaway with a little bit more momentum. That's where the high side has an advantage here, and Auto Club lends nicely to Multi-Groove Racing. Drivers have been working the middle and all night long to this point, and it's starting to show as Thurston is freely taking it up top and now making things happen with that in mind. Side by side still for the race lead, and it's also 2x2 for second at the line again. Thurston with a slight advantage of only 8/1000ths of a second, just enough to stay ahead here. Mike Mitchum going to be putting on some of that additional pressure. More to it with that, of course, Braden Movick. 2x2, and this is something we expected to see in that very early run, but now it's beginning to come in play that much more. 36 out of 80 coming to halfway very shortly, and the pressure of the pack is starting to mount for every driver, no matter where they are. If you're the leader in Thurston, you're looking behind in that rearview mirror, and you're seeing fast drivers chasing you up and down the track. Mike Mitchum swerving up, swerving down. There's Aiden Walker's rear view perspective. He's got Trevor Huff on him, but Thurston has the entire field here. And you could see that Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport deck lid, although it looks like now Thurston's teammates are up inside the top 10, notably Huff and River Page. It doesn't look like he's got help immediately behind him. Instead, he's got a bitter rival in Mike Mitchum. Mitchum heading down to the inside here. The 96 has to watch out. Mitchum low. Frank DeAngelis also coming through, as is Braden Movick. And a significantly different looking field at the front of the pack tonight, but either way, same level of performance. 26 further on back, one of those rookies to keep a good eye out for. That's Jacob Malone. He still has himself alongside River Page and Trevor Huff. Both, of course, who have the opportunity right now to race as teammates for the first time and not as adversaries. They're watching as the team leader and team owner is up in front, but right now Power Smash wants to get that triple podium, and there's a very real opportunity for a top 3 flush tonight if, of course, they keep on succeeding in going up the ranks. Tonight, it looks like it's been all Thurston, but he's getting that pressure now from a new breed. Frank DeAngelis runs up on the high side. He was 4th place last week, very close to getting himself up to a podium for the first time in his career, and tonight, I don't think he's going to be one to be denied. DeAngelis and Movick side by side. Moreover, Aiden Walker and River Page coming through. Here comes the number 93. River Page side by side with DeAngelis as well. Aiden Walker getting pushed through, and it looks like now the perfect opportunity comes to rise for Walker, trying to get himself not only back into the podium, but also back to where he started as your pole sitter. Aiden Walker kicked things off strong tonight, but again, he's been tested. He's found himself falling a little bit further back, and now it looks like he's gotten himself in the top 5 once more. Frank DeAngelis is going to see Jacob Malone pressuring him on the outside, and it looks like the 69 falls a little bit further behind. All the while, we're coming toward our halfway marker already, and it's clear now that the number 96 of James Thurston has control. Coming with them, there's contact further back. Malone, Sean Rowe, the number 19 also goes around. That's Lars Kenowith. It's the big one at halfway. Yellow flag is out, and we've got a halftime yellow flag. It's your second caution of the night, and by all means, this one is the biggest. No fast repairs in the field, so if there's any detrimental damage, well, it starts with DeAngelis and Malone. DeAngelis put up in the wall there by Malone, and then contact further on. Jacob Malone hooked up the circuit by Frank DeAngelis. James Beaumart through the grass. Last week's race winner, Sean Rowe, also getting major contact, and it looks like he's going to fall to the tail end of the circuit. DeAngelis hooking right back up there, Jacob Malone. Malone slides. He'll get away. Frank DeAngelis drives through, but some front end contact and definitely some damage. Sean Rowe Malone noticeably crumpled on the front and back ends respectively. Caution's out, and now that we're exactly halfway, it's about time drivers head down to pit road once again and get themselves tires and fuel, which will last the rest of the day. We're going to come back with less than half of this race remaining, which means it's about time to figure out what's ready, of course, for the drivers. Looks like their final sets. That's all we need to worry about. Aiden Walker won off pit road last time by, but it looks like this time through he will be beaten. Michael Deitch is going to be scored as your race leader, then Lars Kennewith, and immediately after Lars it'll be the 25 of Mohamed Omir, then Thurston, then Mitchum, then Walker. The unsung heroes come to the front of the field, and Michael Deitch, for the first time tonight, will lead a lap. That's the number 17. Deitch comes up to the point, although it looks like now he heads down to pit road, so he's got the intention to give up that race lead once again, and it's going to be Lars Kennewith in the 19 taking the race lead here. Lars was the winner off pit road, and it's going to be between he and Mohamed Omir in the number 25 to settle things. One lap to green this time through, 37 laps remaining as we get back at it. The field returns to action as drivers choose high or low. It looks like Lars once again will choose the bottom side. Control car has been exclusively dominating the bottom row tonight. The inside not used just yet. Looks like the advantage coming on that low groove whenever necessary, and it's proven to work so far for our starters. Thurston has been the man of the hour so far tonight, but it doesn't mean that he can't be stopped. In fact, it only means now that the competition might heighten as we've gotten past our first half of the race. Second half could be a little bit more aggressive, so watch from here as drivers get ready to go at it once more. Thurston, Mitchum, and Aiden Walker are lined up first through third on the inside groove. Outside, we'll see Lars Kennewith, Mohamed Omir, and River Page. And then behind River, you'll have another rookie. That's the 30 of Derek Shaver. Inexperience is on the outside for the most part. And on the inside, you've got the veterans, and including the fourth row. Inside lane, Daniel Mosteller, the three-time champion. Demos won here in Season 4. The last season we went here with the Next Gens. Keep that in mind, he might have himself a second win in Fontana up his sleeve. Now to the inside comes the iRacing pace car once again. Thurston's going to get ready to lead things as the sun is all but completely set. Lars Kennewith to the point. Green flags out. We're back on our way, and the 19 gets things rolling. Already it looks like Thurston taking advantage of this one, and he's going to take him down to the middle groove. Michael Mitchum, though, looks like now he's got a shot to make it 3 wide for the race lead. For the first time all night long, Mitchum has the advantage, and the number 38 takes the race lead. Caution is out. Yellow, back of field. And it's going to be the number 26 of Jacob Malone involved. Here's an instant replay. Caution's out. And it looks like for this time around, the driver of the number 26 sees trouble. Malone, among others, at the back of the field, caught up in a wreck. And we'll see whether or not it was anything crazy. Contact him big. Down the track, Malone went and had to go through the grass. so it took place during the back straightaway rather than the corners here. We'll give you that wide angle as it looks like Jaquay Carter also involved. Carter now 29th after starting P19. And you see there, up top, Drew Lyles collecting multiple other drivers. Lyles was really where things got hectic. He came up the track, and one more look, this time with Drew Lyles as the focus. The number 77 here was turned by Braden Mubbock, came back up the track after contact with Trevor Huff, destroying that number 26 of Malone. Frank DeAngelis got really lucky. I don't think he got any back-end damage from that one, but he could have been crumpled after that hit. Already with some front-end contact, that could have been a race ender, but the 69 gets away free of any issue. Talk about tricky. Drivers coming down to pit road once again. Contreras, you'll see there, Malone, DeAngelis, O'Meara, and Trevor Huff. All the while, Daniel Mosteller is your new race leader. That's because he decided to stay out, as did 11 other drivers. 13th on back went down and in, leaving Mike Mitchum as your winner off pit road. And he finds himself now on brand new rubber. He went in at lap 46. Anyone who went in at lap number 42 went in on the previous caution rather than this one. "35 laps to go. We'll go back to green with 33, the opening half coming rapidly, and now a few yellow flags and troubles to get us going for our second half. Daniel Mosteller didn't start this race all too strong, qualifying of course in 17th, and hasn't been all too apparent in these opening laps. But now with a perfect opportunity to get things going for his own, Demos will take the race lead and he'll have the inside line. Track position has been the most important thing all night long. And it looks like once again he'll have a chance to use it to his advantage. Mosteller and Carlos Truther line up inside row. Corey Lyles, and with them, Derek Shaver line up on the outside groove. '84 Vandres Varas also making his first appearance up front today, up 12, 18th to 6th in the Carfax number 84, and Terrell Baker, who qualified in P3, is back in the top 3 rows. He'll be starting 6th on this run tonight. Yellow flag number 3. Your third restart with 33 laps to go. Daniel Mosteller and Corey Lyles with the opportunity now. Corey, of course, getting up front for the first time. His night has not gone the best so far, but now all 3 of the teammates for Kalof Deitch Racing are in the top 10, running 2nd, 9th, and 10th respectively. Schugel and Michael Deitch rounding out the top 10. Field goes green with Daniel Mosteller, the 3-time champion, leading your third restart. Corey Lyles remains high, Derek Shaver stays with them, and the 87 gets the jump. The inside with the advantage as Demos leads us into turn 1. Daniel Mosteller getting ahead here. One driver in the wall, big. That's Elijah Innes. Does Thurston spin? Yes, he does. Thurston down and around. Big contact. 1, 2, 3. Rowe gets away, but Bomar and O'Meara are destroyed. Caution's out. Huge hits. Bomar immediately retires. And the night has all of a sudden turned tricky for drivers. It looks like now we're starting to see big issues on a wide scale. Thurston was up on the top side here as Elijah Innes wiggled, but at the very same time, you start to see it here. Mitchum caught up in the wall. Thurston shakes once, twice, and he cannot properly correct it. He comes down, avoids his teammate Page, O'Meara, and Bomar meets Thurston in the middle. Bomar, trying to avoid that wreck, got destroyed in the process. Take a look on board with Bomar in the final moments of his race. And it's a horrible incident all around here. I think the number 20 in Bomar perhaps gets the real worst of it. Watch this. Diving low, and he went to the exact wrong spot. Motor immediately blows, that's his night, and he's already taken it off the track. Nevertheless, Daniel Mosteller, your race leader with 32 laps to go. It looks like we're going to return to racing with about 30 laps left here. With a little bit of time before we get things going once again, we'll bring you some non-stop coverage and thank some of our partners and associates here live at FTN. Non-stop coverage is brought to you by Whiplash SimCams, your preferred destination for high-quality iRacing cameras, and we'll return before the green flag flies once more. With 31 laps to go, you're watching coverage of the IORA Cup Series and the Auto Club 160. We'll be right back after this.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
Daniel Mosteller leading the way as we get back at it with 29 laps to go. Yellow flag slightly extended to get the field according to itself, and Elijah Innes given an end-of-line penalty as a result of that last incident. It was determined that Innes getting loose up top, starting that chain reaction as Mitchum tried to avoid it, and Thurston then got caught up with damage, and that's what caused the wreck. Jacob Malone disconnecting, and it looks like his night will end as Jason Semedo just got into the server. He is the 34th registry, and it looks like he'll be the 33rd starter tonight. He just got on track. He's 49 laps down. Mathematically speaking, it's impossible for him to get any other positions on the night, so he'll settle for that spot as Daniel Mosteller settles himself in for another restart. It's your fourth of the day with less than now 30 laps to go. Big wreck again, and it's going to be back of the field. This time, Wayne Kennedy. It's your 5th caution. Take a look at it again. Wayne Kennedy was 4 wide at the time of incident. You see Vincent Guecci go up high on him, but it looks like this time through, the 38 cannot escape. Contact with the 67 of Alex Anderson, hooked up the track, luckily doesn't get anyone the way through. Will Shack barely avoids the incident there. Will doing a really good job of just getting out of the way, although it could have turned into a drastically worse incident here. Here's the perspective from Shack in the 31. Close call, but Will Shack will avoid the wreckage and make it through. Jason Cimento is getting laps back right now. He's 51 down, but he's not done yet. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he can pull off really anything with how much time he spent off the circuit. More than half the race down already. It's almost mathematically impossible to even have a chance at winning, let alone gaining another position. He'll just have to bide his time and hope for other cautions if there's any chance. Daniel Mosteller will lead his 3rd restart of the day. Corey Lyles still remains in the podium, but as you see, Carlos Truther and Terrell Baker are now making their ways up. Baker's back inside the top 5 after laying back on the opening half, and Carlos Truther finds himself in the podium after qualifying in 30th, going a total now up 28 places. The biggest gain of any driver on the track, even surpassing Baker's figure, currently of 23. Carlos Truther going to find himself just behind Demos here. Some notable gains for drivers further back. Aaron Schugel, 23rd up to 8th. And Devins Baker, 22nd up to 7th. These two drivers started right with each other, and they remain that way now more than 50 laps after the green flag flew. Choose rule back in effect as we get set for restart number 5 here. A few yellow flags coming back to back. Just hoping to get that green flag finish to get the job done. Daniel Mosteller eyeing win number 1 on the season. And with Thurston now having some big troubles, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get back on the track here. Number 96, he is 4 laps down. While he's on the circuit, we say getting back on track as in, I don't think he's going to get back up there without damage, so fighting for the win will be nearly impossible. Sean Rowe has just reconnected to the session. It looks like he just had an internet failure and falls off the lead lap. He should be back on the circuit about 2 laps down by the time he gets back inside the cockpit. A total of 26 drivers on the lead lap. From Daniel Mosteller down to Wayne Kennedy, who was involved in the most recent wreck. Still, a majority of the field is with us after some 55 laps, and the goal is to keep moving from there. Von Drugman disconnecting from 21st on the track. It looks like that was a manual disconnection, and so he's going to park it and call it a night, which leaves us then with 25 still going at it as we head now to only 25 laps to go. Green flag gets things going. Daniel Mosteller still with the advantage, but Terrell Baker now on the outside for the first time all night long, and Corey Lyles, nor the 25, cannot compete with Demos. Side by side for P2, Truther and Baker still battling each other. These two drivers have been on their way up all night long, and at long last they've found each other, but they've also found the battle for the race lead. Perhaps we're going to see the focus back on Daniel Mosteller, or we see more of that infighting throughout the entire pack. Multiple cautions back-to-back between laps 40 and 55 have brought us now to the very tail end of this race, and it looks like strategy is going to matter far less on the way out here. And with that said, 4 wide, Varas with Movic, Walker, and Devins Baker. One driver's got to give, but we still haven't seen any compromise. Varas contact there with the number 14, and it looks like both will fade away. Aiden Walker with a stronger run than Braden Movic will just barely clear into turn 3, but can't make the block, and so they'll still side-by-side battle through the final 2 turns. Trouble remains, of course, for the drivers up and ahead, waiting to see whether or not we can finish this one under green. Daniel Mosteller has been leading ever since about lap 30 here, and he's been able to dominate the last few restarts by virtue of circumstance. But now he's got to fight to see whether or not he is better than Terrell Baker or Carlos Truther. Both drivers who have never come away with a podium finish in their IORA careers, and for Baker's case, he's never raced in this league before. But coming to 22 laps to go, that changes, and we're about to see the best angles of the night. Cranking it up with 22 laps to go, we'd like to thank our new camera partners at Whiplash SimCams for bringing the action to you. Whiplash SimCams is iRacing's best camera provider, up to date and continuing to expand. We're proud to have joined our friends such as P1 Broadcasting and the Elite Racing League in making the move to Whiplash, and we're with them all year long. So with that said, let's ride it out loud from the Auto Club Speedway and crank it up with 22 laps to go here in Fontana. Baker is in trouble. It looks like the green flag will still remain out on circuit, but we've got an issue in the back of the field, and we're going to tend to it right here. It looks like from the front of the field on back, well, Terrell Baker gets away, but you saw there the number 1 of Elijah Innes is going to lose all his track position in one foul swoop. Take a look back and you'll see why. Innes caught up with Vincent Guecci there, and both drivers went right down the track, spinning on their way, and they'll continue on. Green flag remains out, but after an incident like that, it looks like, unfortunately, both the 1 and 88 no longer have a shot for the race win. They'll be at the tail end of the field, and they're running far behind. All the while, Carlos Truther takes the race lead, and with them is Daniel Mosteller still fighting to get back to P1. Here we see it. Truther finding himself up and advantageous, and with clean air for the first time. Daniel Mosteller, maybe he has a chance to rebound here, but we're on the verge of what could be a first career victory for the 39. Corey Lyles runs third. It's been a long time coming for that number 56, and while last time we went racing at this circuit, it was Aaron Schugel who ran strong, it looks like now the Kalof Deitch Racing crew are inside the top 10, doubly so. Aaron is in 8th, Corey is in 3rd, and although it looks like Michael Deitch has fallen down the ladder to 17th, the majority of the team is still up where it needs to be, and they've got a chance, maybe not only to win, but to go for double top 10s and double top 5s. But all eyes are on the 2 drivers with the best chance at the victory. And that is Daniel Mosteller in 2nd, Carlos Truther in 1st, coming around this time by with what will be 15 laps to go. The home stretch is here. Carlos Truther with the advantage now, and it looks like with pit road effectively closed for the night, this will be the battle up in front. Unless a mistake is made, a significant one at that between these 2 drivers, it looks like we're going to figure out who has it amongst each other just based on a green flag run. It's going to come down to raw pace and maybe a little bit of strategy, but I don't think we'll see drivers saving in this strategy. Instead, we'll see who can push the best and who can make that right move at the right time. It's about correctly timing aggressive racing from here. It's not about holding back, but instead when it's right to go for the big move and what it means to go for it. Aiden Walker now nearly 4 wide here with Aaron Schugel and Trevor Huff. Up to the high side goes the number 91. Huff is looking for a position down low. Schugel's looking for it up high, and it looks like Terrell Baker is still with us here in the number 24. Although he's fallen out of the top 5, it looks like a top 10 run is all but inevitable here for the 25 crew, who have fought hard to get up to this point, but still haven't gotten exactly where they'd like to be. Truther at the line, going to see 13 laps to go, and Daniel Mosteller is still right there with them. Although Mosteller gave away the race lead, it doesn't look like he's lost any significant time when battling against the number 39 here. Which makes me wonder whether or not the end goal of this strategy is to wear out Truther, who's right ahead of him. And if that does occur, contact! It's going to be Terrell Baker in the wall. The caution will fly once again. The 25 for your 6th yellow of the night. And here's a look. The 25 of Terrell Baker seeing an issue late, and his top 10 chances all but entirely vanishing. In one foul swoop here, Trevor Huff blocking, Huff in the wall, shooting back into the 25 and sending him up the track. Baker and Huff involved. It looks like only Baker gets significant damage from this one. Yellow flags out. 12 laps to go and still counting down. Carlos Truther, your race leader. Pit road not expected to be all too busy, so once again we'll take a brief moment to step back and bring you non-stop coverage courtesy of Whiplash SimCams. We'll return right after this. You're watching live on FTN, the IORA Cup Series, and you won't miss a thing under green. The action continues from Fontana when we return for our 6th restart of the night.
Racing isn't easy. but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
Single digits remain between now and the checkered flag in the IORA Cup Series. That is 9 laps to go when we return green. Daniel Mosteller again has control, but this time he's got a more familiar foe right beside him. That's River Page. Nevertheless, it'll still be the third place man, Carlos Truther, and fourth in Corey Lyles. Then right behind Lyles is his KDR teammate, Aaron Schugel. As such, we'll head back to green. Things rolling once again. It'll be the number 87 to Daniel Mosteller, who gets a chance to keep things moving with, of course, his Toyota Supra up in front. River Page is back on the front row, and Carlos Truther is now just behind the 87. Can he make the pass once again for the race lead, knowing now it could be the pass for the win? We'll find out this time by. With time to spare, the implications are clear and the stakes are high. Opportunity now for the number 39 machine to take it to the inside and make a pass. Hasn't quite gotten through just yet. Checkered flag is now only 8 laps away as we, of course, make our way through once more. Daniel Mosteller still ahead coming out of turn 4. Can't quite get more than a car length ahead of Truther now. Carlos keeping him honest as the number 39 drops down low. It could be another first-time race winner tonight, as Alexander Balderas was in Season 5. Truther with the opportunity to go through and win in Season 7. A first-time winner trying to make it work. Now ducking down low once again. Here comes Daniel Mosteller for the crossover maneuver. River Page can't quite get up to Carlos here. It looks like the 39 is stuck in second at the very least. River hasn't been able to get a move on to get up to either Mosteller or Truther here, and it looks like Corey Lyles remains P4. All the while, Aaron Schugel is here in 6th. Karloff Deitch Racing has proven very strong at this track before, mainly because we're evaluating their successes when they were part of the Jackson Fuimano Racing camp. But now that JFR is folded effectively, well, it means that as it stands, it's going to be all about those previous successes turning into future performances. And with 10 laps to spare, it looks like now the number 91 of Aaron Schugel is following his teammate through, while Daniel Mosteller follows through to the inside to take the race lead back. 6 laps remaining, trying to clear on Truther. Can't quite get it. Demos remains down low. River Page now decides to swerve down to the bottom as well. Carlos Truther with a massive block, and it's enough to hang on to the race lead and go clear by 0.2 of a second. River Page now looking to take second place for his own. It looks like it hasn't come through just yet. The 87 of Mosteller winds it back up, gets back into the move, and maybe he's got enough in him to reset and try to go again. Not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination, but now Demos locks it up, takes it up to the high side, and he's going to keep it side by side with Page. 5 laps to go. Carlos Truther still ever so slightly advantageous, and it looks like only 10 miles remain that separate the 39 from his first career victory. Sean Rowe disconnecting once again. It looks like those internet troubles have proven consistent, and he'll fall out of the top 20 as a result tonight. Tough luck for your Daytona race winner, as it looks like tonight another driver is looking to break a winless streak, and for Truther, it goes all the way back to his very first time in this league. River Page is getting close, and Daniel Mosteller is getting closer, so even though it looks like now the number 39 has an advantage, it is not game, set, and match as we come across the stripe once again. 4 laps remaining. We passed the overtime threshold as well. Any additional caution will bring the field to an overtime finish and a 2-lap shootout. Demos is now up high, but he doesn't look to be as quick as River Page. River Page is coming on strong, and now he's got himself alone in the runner-up spot. Second place to the 24. 3 laps to go now. If any driver has an opportunity to go out there and beat the 39 of Truther, it comes in this stretch. Final laps are approaching. Aiden Walker getting up now to Daniel Mosteller. It looks like the 87 all of a sudden falling apart and big. Perhaps his opportunity for the checkered flag is falling out of reach as well. River Page ducks down low. Carlos Truther takes it up high, and you'll see those differences in racing perspectives. Drivers using different grooves when it matters most here. River finding something in the bottom, but can't quite make a gain down the back straightaway, and instead falls a little bit further behind. Coming now to 2 laps to go. White flag next time by. River Page as close as he's been, right to the back bumper of the 39 through 3 and 4. Two laps to go. River now is diving deeper and deeper into each and every corner. All the while, Aiden Walker is ducking low on Daniel Mosteller. The fight to stay inside the podium is getting stronger, but River Page now has gotten his best run all throughout the night. Truther blocks down low. River knows he's got the stuff, but he has to keep making those corners work out if he wants any chance. Now, Truther decides to go down to the bottom. He hasn't gone there all throughout this run. Perhaps a little less comfortable because River now rips it across high with more momentum coming to the white flag. Final lap brought to you by Whiplash Simcams, and Page is all over your race leader, Carlos Truther. River now is going to take a chance down low, lunging down to the inside groove. It looks like now he's got a chance to come side by side through the back straightaway. Page just there with the number 39, but he can't go clear. Truther again gets the advantage down the back straightaway, ever so slightly faster. And so it comes down to this one final lunge. River Page sends it deep into turns 3 and 4, only to wash up. The number 39 from 30th on the starting grid comes across the checkered flag at the end of 80 laps. Carlos Truther wins in Fontana. Page second. Daniel Mosteller finishes third. Truther's first career IORA Cup Series victory, and what a drive it was to get it done. 9-lap shootout. Advantage Carlos Truther. And so now your race winner for the very first time will get a chance to celebrate as he takes it for a burnout in California. Bringing the car to victory circle and parking it right in the middle. Checkered flag for Carlos Truther as he wins here in Auto Club, winning over River Page in second and Daniel Mosteller in third, the number 39 winning from 30th on the starting grid. Then you have Aiden Walker in P4, Aaron Schugel P5, and Alex Anderson coming home in 6th. 7th place on the order then and there will be Corbin Collins with Corey Lyles 8th, Mike Mitchum 9th, and Lars Kenowith rounding out the top 10. 11th place on the order will be Aladam Contreras. Andres Varas 13th. Nope, he's just ahead in P12. But it'll be Devins Baker 13th place, 14th for Elijah Innes, and Michael Deitch 15th place on the day. Derek Shaver finishes in 16th with Drew Lyles 17th, Terrell Baker 18th, Vincent Guecci 19th, and Wayne Kennedy then finishing 20th place. P21 on the day will be Trevor Huff with Sean Rowe 22nd, Will Shack 23rd, Frank DeAngelis 24th, and Jaquay Carter 25th. Braden Movick comes home 26th with James Thurston 27th, Jerry Rodriguez 28th, Van Drugman, and Mohamed Omir 29th and 30th. Final finishers on the day: James Bomar, Jacob Malone, Jason Semedo, and Dylan Banks, your 34 registrations on the night. New race winner, however, at the front of them all, Carlos Truther in the number 39. He'll get the win, and what a fight it was between the front runners in the field. We're going to bring in your race winner right about now. Hopefully he's available for comment, and we'll get through all your top 3 right after this. Truther collects the flag, place on the day, going then River Page and Daniel Mosteller finishing in third. It looks like right now, race is not available for comment. Give us a moment to enter. Meantime, we're going to get second and third place as it looks like all standing with us right now. You're right. Just getting room. Speak to the man who gets the job done. That being number 30, Carlos Truther collects his first IORA Cup Series victory, on some of the in this league and getting it done. Back.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. You cut out through most of that, but I'll just go through with the basics. It was a great race, great league, big IOR guy. Tough beating River Page and Demos there. Don't know how I got away with that one, but we got away with it. And first career win. Can't believe that. I didn't expect that coming into this. I skipped qualifying to make a pizza dough.
You mentioned it, qualifying 30th on the day, starting at the back of the field and making your way all the way up. For starters, how was it at the tail end having to move through the field?
I mean, the first 3 laps, me and Muvik drove from the 30s to the teens, but he kept going forward, but I got stuck there. So I had to wait till the tire wear came in before I could finally start sneaking in. And I think I got to 10th at the first yellow, and then I just kind of rode there for a bit.
And of course, getting up to the mid-pack, quite a few yellow flags on the day. You think those cautions played in your favor?
Oh yeah, dude. Me and Demos, everyone who stayed out there and didn't refuel without all those cautions, we were chopped because we had to save on all those cautions, and I was still only 1 lap to the good before that final caution would tend to go. But I guess that saved us. But yeah, that really helped us save fuel. So shout out to those cautions. Don't know what I was going on back there, but thank you.
Able to make it up there, fighting with Mosteller till the very end. Was there any advantage in terms of how you think you saved the tires, or did it just come down to working the right grooves?
Before the yellow, I think he saved his tires better than me because he was starting to run me down, but I just passed him before and was hoping a caution came out. And on the final run, with 2 to go and River got to me, my right frame was absolutely shredded. So I was just I couldn't go to the bottom or do anything I wanted to do because I've been running the bottom all race. Never ran the top at all until the final 10 laps, so I don't know how I made it work that well, but I got away with it.
And everything works out just fine. First career victory here in Auto Club. Next race on the season, back to the mile and a halves in Atlanta. How do you feel about returning to our more traditional cookie cutters?
I'm a big Legacy Atlanta guy, so I'll be there for that. Very excited for it.
That said, checkered flag falls for the number 39 team. Carlos, any final comments or shout-outs you'd like to send out here?
Yeah, I got one. I think everyone should subscribe to I Have 40 Wins. Good NASCAR content. That's me. And shout out to Team T. Someone for the chat back there. I'm not giving all the names out. That's for only NR wins, but shout out to them. And I think that covers it.
Carlos Truther getting the job done and winning here in the Auto Club 160. Of course, big victory at that. First career win, so thank you once again for your time.
Thank you for broadcasting.
The 39 on the way. We'll hear then from second place finisher River Page, who surged late, qualified inside the top 5, and was able to stay up in front for the most part to hang on for a second place finish, just barely getting Daniel Mosteller at the end.
Yeah, that was certainly a race. I didn't get to do Daytona, so I was excited to be here. It's the season opener for me. And the first part of the race was good, and then there were some people in the back that clearly just weren't taking it serious and kind of ruining the whole deal. I was gonna try and save some fuel there when we pit. I think 38 laps ago, I took fuel and I was towards the back trying to save, and then we just kept wrecking, and there were some people intent wrecking and doing some stupid stuff. So. And hopefully that gets taken care of. But then at the end, I really pushed it to get by Demos. And then once I caught up to 40, on the last lap when I was underneath him, I was just off the throttle the whole time. There was just no turn. So that's what happens. I sacrificed my tires to get the second place finish, and I wasn't able to get after 40. But he was really quick. So congrats to him. That's a good win for him. He was really fast at the end. And yeah, it was good. I had a lot of fun. Debuted this new car with the new number, and second place is good. I'm glad that I was able to get all the way up there at the end.
Hanging on to, of course, seeing some good points at the very end here. Strategy all over the place as a result of the yellow flags coming toward at the tail end. But let's talk a little bit about those fuel and tire numbers. You last went down to pit road just about the same time everyone else did. But any different splits in your strategy you thought would help you out?
Yeah, I was gonna try and save fuel, and then there was those wrecks. Muvik pit and a couple other people pit, and then they wrecked immediately on the restart. So I was like, I'll come in now, and that didn't work. But yeah, this car is just chewing up the right front all night. So Definitely a little bit of work to do when it comes to my long runs. It's been kind of a while since I've done a race with this car. Just a race in general, honestly. I really haven't done iRacing as much, but yeah, I hope that we can clear up some of the issues. It's fun to have big fields like this, and it's good for the league to get all these drivers in here. I think there was 34 people registered, and 33 people finished, like actually did the race. So it's cool to see all these people racing, but I hope we can clean it up a little bit, and it'll allow for some of those strategies to come back. Last season we had 2 or 3 races that had one caution or no cautions, and that just frees up so much room for strategy. That's how I won Chicagoland or Kansas, whatever race I won last year, and so I can hope that can come back. But I still had a good time.
And you mentioned maybe a chance to get those green flag runs next week as we head back again to old Atlanta.
Yeah, I love old Atlanta. I'm so glad it's on the schedule. Last time we were there, me and Chase had a really good race for the win, so I'm excited for that. But it's hard to drive, so I don't expect it to be necessarily, if we get this many drivers again, to be a one caution race like it was last season or season 5. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's probably my favorite track, maybe Darlington, but I think I have good speed there, so hopefully I can find my way into like maybe the top 10 in the points, maybe get a win. But just my goal is really just to stay consistent this year. Last season I was just terrible at the beginning of the year. I wrecked out of like a bunch of races, and that was just kind of uncharacteristic. So I just need to get back to being consistent, which was kind of the name of the game for when I won the championship. So if I can do that, just get a good finish in Atlanta and then keep it coming, that'd be good.
And a strong start, of course, when we talk about consistency. Second place tonight, River Page, so sitting middle of the podium. Any final comments you'd like to send out here? The floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks just to Haggard Electrical, Flopper Racing, FTN, of course, everyone else on the car, Monster Designs, and Mason always doing a good job. He's got a lot of people to handle in this race, and he did a good job. And this league is just getting more and more fun. I think it's going to keep growing, so that's just really cool to see.
River Page, second place on today, here just a tenth of a second back on the win in Fontana. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And with that said, one final driver to speak to. Your 3-time champ comes back to the podium for the first time this season. Third place for Daniel Mosteller. It looked like a shot at the win was very real tonight, but just a little short at the tail there. The 87 coming home third.
Yeah, I had some good track position there, but I just wasn't in my mojo all race. I made a good call to stay out, get some track position, and with that flurry of yellows, I was able to save enough fuel to make it to the end, which is why everyone pit in the first place. So, I had the lead there with 40, and I knew he was a little bit faster than me, and I knew I was holding him up, and I tried to hold on as long as I could, and then he got by me, and then at the end there, I was kind of holding River up, and then I let him go, and I tried to tag along, see what they were doing to try to maybe be there in case they made contact, but no contact, but third, not that bad, I guess.
And it looks like, of course, that tail end battle defining the end of this race. Strategy calls, and we spoke to Truther and his perspective of getting that race victory. He was working the high side, something we didn't see all night long. But in your case, you seemed to be more comfortable maybe working around and using that bottom groove. Was there anything maybe you could have done to have a better chance at the end?
Yeah, he definitely worked the top a lot better than me, especially in 3 and 4. That's where I really struggled, and that's how I was losing all my time. I couldn't rip the top like he could, and I didn't get the run off the corner that I needed. And then once River got by me, I kind of figured it out, but ultimately it was too late, and I didn't really have the track position that I needed. So maybe if I knew it a little bit sooner, I think I would have been able to do a little more, but just didn't work out. But again, third place, it's not that bad. Good way to start the season, obviously.
Getting that P3 finish and a good recovery from just not getting up there for Daytona. Up next is Atlanta. Maybe a chance to keep the good times rolling and get back up in the championship fight.
Yeah, I always struggle with old Atlanta, so it's gonna be a challenge. But this was a track that I struggled with 2 seasons ago. It was probably overall one of my worst races back in season 5. So I think it's a lot of good momentum, big confidence booster to run better overall. So hopefully I'm a little bit better at Old Atlanta next week. But yeah.
That said, Daniel Mosteller, third place here, rounding out the podium in Fontana and getting back up inside the top 5. Any final comments you'd like to send out here?
Want to thank you for broadcasting as always. Fun racing with River on 40. That was a lot of fun. PCR for the motors. Thank you, Tyler Tinsley. Thank you, Brayden Movick. Yeah, thanks, Mason, for off track and running the league as always. It's been a load of fun, and it's awesome to see how quick this league's growing, and I can't wait for the future.
Daniel Mosteller wrapping up the podium here in California with a third place performance. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
But Demos on the way. We've gotten the word from all of your top 3 drivers. Daniel Mosteller in third place, River Page in second, and Carlos Truther getting the race victory tonight here in Fontana. With that said, we've got another broadcast coming through. That's going to be in a half hour's time. The Highline Racing League as they go to the Kansas Motor Speedway. So for all you viewers watching live, we'll meet you there. If you're watching on demand or if you're tuning out for the night, thank you for stopping by watching our coverage from the virtual Auto Club Speedway. Race 2 of Season 7 in the IORA Cup Series. You've been watching exclusive coverage on FTN Broadcasting. I've been your host for tonight's broadcast. I'm David Troitz. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated, and we can't wait to have you back for our next broadcast on Thursday night at 7:45 p.m. as we cover Race 3 from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Tune in for our Highline Racing League event beginning in a half hour's time if you're with us live, and otherwise, we hope you had a fantastic night.